G'day everybody and welcome back to the Hardball Gets AFL show. This podcast is proudly brought to you by the Mazda BT50. You do ute. Today on the show, it's the 6 points leading into round 23. If you haven't subscribed to the show, please do that. Leave us a rating, leave us a review, tell your mates. And if you've got a local sporting highlight, you can win $5,000 for yourself and $1,000 for your club with the BHP Streamer Screamer. Go to streamer.com.au/screamer to enter and for terms and conditions. Right, let's get stuck in. This is the Hardball Gets AFL show. My name is Nick Rynne, joined by Xavier Ellis and Chris Robinson.
Hey,
Gentlemen,
guys.
what's happening?
How we doing?
Wow.
Recovering from Matilda mania?
Yes.
You still got the jumper on?
Still
right?
the jersey on.
The
Correct.
jersey. Well, is that a current?
Mate, I spent $175 on it yesterday.
Did ya?
Yeah, I'm going to wear it twice and then probably never ever
I
wear
thought
it
the
again.
show, like the
Xavier's
Trevor
currently
Emmett stuff up for that
undressing.
or something.
No.
It's not unusual.
Currently undressing in the studio. Who's on the back?
Oh, yeah.
No number.
No number on the back.
Ellis.
But like this is because it's confusing when you buy them because one, you want the girls' version, but you don't want to buy the girls' version. If that
Like the
makes
girls'
sense.
cut?
Yeah. No. Yeah. So you want the female version, but
Yeah.
you wanted the male sizing. That was confusing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, when we were getting some polos and stuff done for Streamer, and we asked Holly, our content manager, it's like, do you want to, do we get the women's cut? And she's like, no, they're horrible. There's less and less, like, females actually want that, like, female cut of stuff.
A polo.
Polos and stuff like
Can
that.
I let you in a little secret?
What's that?
I think polos are shit.
Polos are not the best.
I think they suck.
Well, this is... what?
But I'm sure
club
yours
polos,
look good.
No, ours look great. Ours look great. Yeah, I'm not a huge polo guy either.
Nah, just a shirt or something.
Yeah. Club polos and stuff.
I reckon, for example, I saw Shuey's retirement speech the other day with a suit, slacks and a polo.
Yep.
Don't like it.
No. You know who looked mint? Actually, the West Coast AFLW girls last night had their season launch. And
Strange that the season launch was on the same night as the semi-final.
Well, yeah,
Not
so I
ideal
think
timing.
they got up and they brushed through in about 15 minutes and put the game on the big screen.
Yeah.
But they just had white sneakers, pants, like a white T-shirt, and then like a blazer type thing with
Yeah,
the Eagles logo
nice.
on it. Look, mint.
Yeah,
good.
beautiful.
Yeah, there's other ways to do these things, you know. Now that we're through our fashion,
Now that we've given our fashion advice.
segment, what do we got? It's just 6 points. Let's roll straight into it. We
Yeah,
had a chit chat this week.
I know. Well, I was slandered on Monday or Tuesday's podcast,
It's
so
also not unusual.
I'm not speaking too much today.
Oh, really? You're going to withhold? Well, Rhino went and had to introduce everything from pitch side last night because
Yeah.
it's very important to be there, you know.
I heard actually
Amazing.
the ratings went down because everyone turned it off because they thought their TV had frozen when he forgot to speak for 10 seconds. What a shit
And
bit of
plus-
TV that was.
Plus, the Botox in his face is not as expressive, so it looked extra like it was frozen.
There was a few that weren't happy that they went to the news.
Yeah, okay.
A few were like, "Just give us 7, mate."
I'll roll all the way.
Just
on
they
the
wanted,
one channel.
they wanted the lead in and everything.
Oh, when you were watching in the pub last
yeah,
night. Okay.
yeah,
right.
which I was a bit like, oh, no one's listening. Like we're chatting,
Chat the news on,
getting
yeah.
food and beers
Yeah.
and whatnot. But I know one bloke behind us was pissed off. I don't know why. Just look on your phone to see the team.
It's a good question about like the lead up stuff. I never. I very rarely consume that anymore. Like I'm there for the bounce,
Yeah.
for the kickoff or whatever. I used to sit there and watch everything. It's not so much anymore.
Hey, who's doing the World Cup final entertainment?
Which is a very good question.
Thank you.
Nikki Webster?
Yeah, have you seen Nikki Webster lately?
No.
I saw her the other day on TV or something. I don't know why. But yeah, I don't know. Is it a big event? Like, are they going to bring out
Ricky Martin.
Coldplay
Ricky Martin's
or-
coming back.
Ricky Martin's coming
Whatever,
back.
yeah.
Couple of life.
There you go.
Yeah,
Absolute
okay.
banger.
They normally have. Is there an anthem? There's always an anthem for the men's, isn't there? Shakira did one.
There usually is. Shakira did one. Yep, you're right.
That's a good song.
Which one was the Shakira?
Is it
one?
Africa? Welcome to Africa.
Oh, yeah, it was in South Africa.
Sorry,
Yeah.
how did that go?
Hey,
Zach?
yeah, can you just do that from the top?
Well, it's actually my recently played, I reckon.
Why?
I think Toto's Africa is in my recently played.
Yeah, Shakira, she's in my recently played. How cool.
And you just, how many seconds can we get away with without any licensing fees?
No, it
9.
doesn't matter. You
Give
do,
us
it,
a
you
little
do what you
buzz.
want.
Oh, right.
Is this it or? No, that's not it.
How much Shakira have you got in your recently played?
This is what our podcast has become. Just Zave scrolling through
It's a long footy season, all right? We
Spotify.
run
Both teams are shit and they don't warrant an hour.
All right, well, let's go straight into it. Robbo, why don't you open the batting, mate?
Okay, no worries. Well, I thought I'd just take us through. I thought we'd do like a consensus ladder predictor between the three of us. If we look at the last two rounds, decide
So
who's
you're
going
going to go and
decide who's going to win each game.
do
So
it.
there's three of us. We've got
like
to form a
this.
consensus,
I
plug
like
it
this.
into the ladder predictor, and we'll tell everybody at home
Right.
who's making
And
finals and,
there's,
who's
there's
not.
just the right amount of games, so this isn't going to be.
It's not going to drag on
horrendous
too
and go
long.
Yeah.
for too
I'll
long.
hammer through it pretty quickly. So we need a consensus. So
Right.
Collingwood, Brisbane tomorrow night. Who we got?
Brisbane.
I was going Brisbane.
I'm also Brisbane. Lock it in.
It's away,
It's
Brisbane
at
have won the
Dome.
last 6 or whatever against
But Collingwood are real banged up. Richmond hosting North. We happy with Richmond?
Yeah.
Gold Coast hosting Carlton.
Yeah.
You have to go Carlton, I think, on form, don't you?
Trust the
Yes.
form.
You have to follow the form.
Giants hosting Essendon. There's
Giants.
some form there as well. Yep, agreed. Probably the toughest tip of the weekend, St Kilda and Geelong at Marvel, with Hawke and Guthrie potentially coming back.
It's Putty Town.
Yeah,
Cats.
Cats. Yeah, I'm happy to go.
I'm happy with the Cats. Adelaide hosting Sydney. We're happy with the
Adelaide.
Crows' hot
Yeah,
form
I'm
at
going
home.
Crows at home.
Bulldogs beat West Coast, obviously.
Oh, hang on.
Whoa, you got to throw this up. You said consensus,
was
mate.
over-
I'm overruling you.
You arrogant dog.
Melbourne hosting Hawthorn. That actually takes a little bit of thought,
Nah,
given
Melbourne.
Hawthorn's form, but we're happy with Melbourne. And the last game of this round is Port at Fremantle.
Port.
Okay. Let's move on to the last round, which begins with...
Funnily enough, someone pulled me up on the street yesterday and said, "You've tipped Fremantle this week." I don't know.
Have
I did
you?
it. I bugger if I know.
Where? Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe on the game or something.
Time traveller.
Essendon Collingwood at the G, Friday night, next Friday night.
Collingwood.
Collingwood.
Hawthorn hosting Freo.
Can't the
at the G.
Hawkers.
We happy with the Hawks?
You two need to sort this
I'll
out.
take Freo. You have the
I'll
deciding
take
vote.
Freo.
Freo?
Well, no.
On
I'll
what
take-
grounds?
No, I'll take Hawks.
Okay, Hawks.
I'm such a bully.
Yeah, but I also just think they are actually in good form.
At home.
Freo, away, who
North
knows?
against Gold Coast in
Gold
Hobart.
Coast. Gold Coast.
Gold Coast.
I reckon North might get him there, but we'll take Gold Coast
I do like
consensus.
Hobart, but it's also
Brisbane.
terrible.
Funny, on
Yeah.
North, I reckon they might be wrapping a few players up
Go early.
this week. So I reckon it might be a bit of a dead feel for North.
Yeah, that's fair. Brisbane hosting St Kilda at the
Brisbane.
Gabba. Brisbane, never tip against them. Geelong and the Dogs at the Cattery.
Geelong.
Yeah, Geelong down there
Happy
probably.
with Geelong. West Coast hosting Adelaide.
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 Crows. Port hosting Richmond is Port.
Port.
Sydney hosting Melbourne at the SCG. Tricky. Real tricky.
I will lean towards Melbourne.
I'll take Sydney.
I'll take Sydney too.
All right, Sydney it is. And then Carlton, the
I
last
also
game.
backed them at $8 to make the finals about 4
You
weeks
wanna
ago, so I
get-
need them to get in.
That's
You
a big
realise
one.
that the 8 that's generated isn't probably going to be the real.
Mate, well, so you're telling me that
No,
when,
we're telling everyone exactly what's
when
going to
Chad
happen.
Warner's sitting there listening to the podcast, he's not going to get
He knows.
confidence from this?
He
This
knows.
is true.
Carlton hosting the Giants at Marvel, last game of the season.
Carlton.
You have to go on form.
And in this scenario, if GWS win, they're in. If they lose, they're out.
Oh,
Right.
that's a good finish.
Whereas Carlton can't move from fifth with the scenario we've just come up with.
How are
last game
Carlton
of the
locked
season.
at
know.
fifth?
Where did this come from?
I don't know.
No, they'll get their stars back and it'll all go to shit.
Yeah.
Harry Maguire will come in.
No,
and
you've got to
they'll
be careful, mate.
I'm taking the
I know,
Giants.
people are on me about Carlton.
You guys both taking
Love
Carlton? Are
them.
we locking in Carlton?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the final eight that we've come up
All
with,
right, let's
GWS
go.
have missed out because of that result.
Yeah.
Top eight, we've got Collingwood top, Brisbane
Yeah.
over percentage from Port have taken second, Port third.
We didn't do margins. We want to go back to do margins?
Nah,
Yeah.
that's too much. Melbourne fourth, Carlton fifth, Geelong sixth from percentage from Sydney. So both Geelong and Sydney make it, the two grand finals from last year.
Swannies.
And then sneaking into eighth with percentage over the Dogs
Adelaide Crows.
is the
Dogs
Adelaide
miss.
Crows. Dogs miss 9th on percentage. St Kilda also miss 10th on percentage. Giants also miss 11th on percentage.
It was only last week I was saying at $21, I thought they were a good interest to win the flag, the Dogs.
Now.
They go down to Launceston, play the ordinary.
This is this is actually going to be. So there's 3 games this weekend where I'm like, I will sit down and watch those.
Oh, I'll audit you on that.
Give me 3. Well, this is my intention.
Up from your usual contingent.
One and a half.
When you get back from stealing the tomatoes from the tomato
one
man.
and a few minis. Oh, you also rated the stash. Okay, so this is I have information from
You guys and your
Peter, the
tomatoes.
tomato stand.
Can we blow the siren,
The stash
please?
is well rated. He gave me some from the stash in front of someone else who wasn't. Who was
Oh,
missed out on
no,
tomatoes too.
it's a dangerous. You always say I'll be back, but no one's
I
there.
need a separate tomato chat for you guys.
No,
All right, really
Steak and
quickly,
tomatoes,
I'll
get around
go. Where's my little thing? I've got the teams that can't make finals virtually here. Where are we? There we go. The teams that did make finals next 4 months. So obviously
the
virtually
last batch. Yeah.
the next 4 months. If you'd think of one thing that they need or need to do or need to bring in, what would it be? Okay, Richmond Football Club.
One thing they need to
One
bring
thing,
in over
the
the
most
next 4 months.
priority one.
Coach. Find
coach.
the right coach.
Who would you like?
I like Carr, but
That's
he's
the
not
question.
going. He's pulled out.
Carr? Has he pulled out? Has
Yeah,
he?
he's pulled out. I think Kenny did 2. So you're next.
Little secret
Pull out,
handshake.
Yeah.
It seems like McQualter's pretty popular.
You reckon?
And I know that doesn't always mean caretaker, popular, encouraging results equals success, but
Yeah.
it feels like that's the direction they're leaning towards.
This is also one of the normally there's like 8 assistants or 4 or 5 assistants
That are
we've been
jumping off
talking
the
about
page,
for a while.
yeah.
It's not really.
Well, that's
it's
like
not
when
around,
West
is it?
Coast is the talk yesterday. You go, yeah, okay, but then who's
Who you bring in?
around?
Yeah.
For mine, I think Richmond, they just need to get Tom Lynch through an entire pre-season. I think next year,
Especially now that Reebok's gone.
he will make a bigger difference than the coach next year, I would think.
Yeah.
Fremantle Football Club, but what do you think they need to do as a priority one?
Keep Hayden Young playing midfield. To a whole preseason as a midfielder.
Midfielder hated Young.
Yeah, I think it's finding a fresh look in that midfield because they
Just
were
a
a bit found out with the Brayshaw, Sarong, O'Meara kind of combo this year.
Yeah.
Is Young a permanent mid? Do they give Johnson and Erasmus more time through there? I think that's number one.
Does the new look midfield have Sean Darcy still there?
Yes.
Yes.
For
So
mine,
what
it
does Luke Jackson do?
So Luke Jackson goes back to that forward ruck role, which he can play very well.
Yeah, I think he's a 5 out of 10 doing that role. I think he's a 9 out of 10 doing ruck.
Well, but Fremantle need a 7 out of 10 doing that forward role.
Yeah.
As a compliment to Amiss and Tracy. So if he can be that 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
There were a couple of games he played there where he was a 9.
Yeah, but there's a couple where it was a 0.
A couple where he was a 0. Yeah, that's right. Finding that consistency through there, I think.
Okay, so you want him as a forward. I love him in the ruck. Gold Coast Suns.
Coach. Well, no, the coach is locked in, right?
Well, Hardwick 5 years. That hasn't been announced.
Probably could have
yet.
got that done without sending the CEO.
Bulldust.
Italy,
You need to go to
reckon?
Positano,
you
mate.
gotta-
Fresh red wine there.
It's face to face, Gold Coast, what do they actually need? Don't need a lot.
I think they need, for me personally, they need to make a splash with a
Change the jumper.
free agency or something.
Change
They
the
need to
jumper.
sign a big name.
And change the jumper.
Change the jumper. You
That's
can do
the
that.
priority one.
It doesn't worry. I mean, you can do that, but they need to land. They need to land a big player. A bit of excitement.
Who's there?
Maybe a Harry Mackay to pair up with King or something like that. Where you go, fuck, righto. That means
Because they also come in, they bring in 3 first rounders for nothing.
yeah. I just want to see them do something because they don't do anything.
One more, like a star mid to complement that group.
A star who's available.
But I don't know. Dusty, maybe. Yeah, Dusty up the right.
Dusty or so. I don't know. Dusty's in bloody good form this year.
He is.
Yeah.
Gold Coast Suns.
I think that's a really interesting watch is to who Hardwick brings from Richmond
Yeah.
because there's going to be some Richmond flavour that he brings by way of personnel, who exactly that is.
Yep. Hawthorn Football Club.
Hawthorn, just let it ride.
Let it ride.
Well, let it ride.
Perfect, not fixing anything
Not
with the
fixing
joint.
anything. No, they do need to, I would say, draft another key forward.
Yeah. Okay.
So much Mitch Lewis hate.
No, I
from
don't.
you.
I just,
What
I
if
just
Harry
think
every
that's
week
the
on this
one they're still-
podcast?
What if Harry Mackay said he wanted to go to Hawthorn?
Yeah, well, you'd take that.
Would you?
Yeah.
What'd you give up?
How old is Harry Mackay? 24?
Yeah, maybe a bit older.
Then, yeah, you'd take it.
Nah, older because Ben's a free agent. Might be 26.
Oh, so it would have been 6-7 years.
8 years.
8. Oh, he's a, free agent.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So, 25, 26. So that gives you 5 years, 6 years. Yeah,
You
do
entertain
that.
it. You just can't overspend. You can't overpay.
I wouldn't give I'd give a future first.
Would you? Okay.
Pretty,
What would you do? You watch more Hawthorn than any of us.
I still think they need a star midfielder.
Okay.
I think they need, and I think they're 12 months from a free agency where they've got a lot of money.
What do they get?
to
1,
one.
2, 3. So
Like
get pick 3. They'll find someone.
Love Newcomb,
Will
Warple,
Day. Will Day's a star
Yeah,
midfielder.
Connor
Will
Nash.
Day, Nash, but they're not going to be the stars. I think they're like 4, 5, 6
Will Day.
midfielder. I didn't name Will Day. You're the only
sorry.
dickhead that keeps
Well, I
barking
threw
Will
it in
Day.
there. Well, yeah, because you're saying I need to start. What about him, mate?
Yeah, I think he needs another one
Okay.
similar. All right. 2 more, North Melbourne.
Everything.
I reckon you got to get rid of Mackay and just get the pick.
Yeah, take the pick.
Stop losing players and stop bringing
So you're saying
recycled
don't
players.
lose. Did I do the recycled players on this
think you
podcast
have.
or the other one?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Where the
yeah,
run
yeah,
of like
yeah.
player numbers
Yeah.
13 to 20
Yeah.
are all recycled.
What
They've got
am
to
I trying
stop
to say?
that
Have
trend.
they got a recruiter yet? Was that this year or last year?
Brady Rawlings?
No, yes, he's a list manager. But
Right.
didn't the whole recruiting team walked out?
Oh, they did, yes.
Was that this year?
Yeah, no, last year.
Last
Well, it was
year,
last
yeah.
year. Okay, so
Yeah.
they do have recruiters. Right, I was going to say that was pretty
Yeah,
important.
North Melbourne, I think they just got to go to get one more round of
Hmm.
draft picks. And last but not least, across the road, West Coast.
You know what I was saying the other day? West Coast need, they needed to have done already, which is bring in a new list manager. Like they have that Rowan O'Brien splitting roles,
Yeah.
which everyone says is worst of both worlds because you're loyal to the blokes you recruit because you were all in on them.
And you wanna
don't
be right
drop
on
them.
them.
And you
Yeah.
want to be right, so you don't drop them because that's hurting your other side of your portfolio.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
But
That
they
is-
needed. I don't
Could be
understand
his
why.
best point he's ever made on this podcast.
This is a very well put point. Yeah.
This has happened
Yep.
sometimes.
But he's
Sometimes
stolen it
there's a
from
little nugget of
somewhere.
gold. I think it was Nathan Buckley.
Yeah.
But I don't. It just struck me the other day. Like, why did they have? They probably didn't have to wait to the end of the season. Like, you could have. That could have been their movement. Is announcing a new list manager
Yeah.
rather than asking Nick Nat to announce his retirement the day after the loss. You want to have. That's a positive you have in the bank to roll out. We have a new list manager who has time ahead of the draft and free agency to like plot the course.
Yeah.
Brody
Brody Grundy of interest?
No, I don't think so.
Not for me. No.
Okay.
You?
Yeah.
Think so?
Yeah.
Come in and play a role?
Yeah. So go Ruck.
They need to keep forward.
Yeah, Ruck though.
It was really interesting. Adam Simpson saying it I think it was last Friday's the pre-Derby press conference that
Yeah.
long term they see Bailey Williams as more of a forward,
Do they? Yeah.
rather than a ruck.
Well, he was being soundly beaten the last two.
Yeah.
I think we're thrilled as West Coast that he's shown improvement, one of the very few.
But he's not a
Still a long way off
top-level
the top
player,
enders.
Yeah, that was quite interesting though. So that suggests
Yeah.
they're either all in on someone like Harry Barnett as the future, or they're looking
I think
to
they
They're
need
someone
very highly
established.
rated, but yeah, maybe that's someone in the interim. Zach Clark out of the waffle.
He's going to win the Sandover.
He's
I
going
reckon.
very well. So I wanted to roll through a couple of rounds remaining, get your early takes. Not early, not super early. We're almost at the end, but on a couple of these sort of award categories. One of them's kind of real. The others two are just made up they're not actual awards. But we'll just roll it off first with the most valuable player this year.
My most valuable player this year, Nick Dacos for me.
You reckon
I know-
Dacos?
Yeah, it is. I think it is. I think he's done enough damage.
I lean to Bontempelli.
I'm probably Bont.
Probably Bont as well.
Yeah.
I think Bont's got numbers across the board, and he's only ever been hurt by his coach putting him in the wrong positions at the wrong time.
Well, what about on the weekend where everyone was thinking Finn McGuinness was going to go to Bond?
Goes to Libba.
Went to Liver and then went to Bailey Dale.
yeah.
Did a bit of Ed Richards as well.
Yeah, like
Kinda
hey,
jumped around.
tricked you.
Yeah. Well, they
I know
wouldn't have prepped for it.
Nash probably went to him a bit, but yeah.
Yeah, it's so Bont's 27 and so his averages this year 27 touches, 7 tackles, 6 inside 50s, 7 clearances. And he's been pretty much bang on 50-50 inside ball, outside ball.
Yeah.
So it's pretty impressive. That's why I kind of lean to him. That
Have you got
more well-rounded.
Dacos' numbers?
Dacos 31, 4 tackles, 4 clearances, and it's probably like 20-80 contested, uncontested.
Yeah.
But so if Dacos played in the middle, like his stats when he went in the middle, he played that the whole year, I probably lean to him.
What about, remember that game? I was like, geez, Dacos has been quiet. And he'd had 6 clearances in the first 10 minutes. I was like, how has he had 6 clearances?
Right. I think it's just that positioning and the split of contested to uncontested.
Yeah.
For me.
There's a touch of recency bias as well because it's easy to forget how good Dacos was
Yeah,
to start the season.
unbelievable.
His first 7, 8, 9 weeks. Was
Brownlow will be a good reflector.
Yeah,
We
and
go,
even the
"Shit."
coaches' votes
Yeah.
too. He's
Yeah.
still
Zach Butters is coming.
yeah, but he's got to get 10 in the next sort of 2 weeks to
Yeah.
get past him.
Well, one best on.
Yeah, then he's done.
But also, I think Kenny, you can. Who was it? Dan Hanbury. I think.
Just load up.
Horse may have manipulated the last result. I think Dan was good, but I think he may have got vote. I might be wrong here, but when he won it, and why wouldn't you? If you've got your player to be,
If you know he's 5 away, just give him 5.
and he's been outstanding, and he's your favourite, and he's done everything right all year, and he's been the best teammate and player.
Unless there's
Why wouldn't you want to give him some recognition?
Unless there's a bonus and the list manager just comes over and goes, God, mate, we can't really afford to just give him a 1, could you?
Yeah.
I
give him 4 so you say you're close, but mate, you missed by 1.
Yeah. I enjoyed when the numbers come out trying to figure out who gave what. You know, sometimes it's unanimous, and sometimes one person gets 4, and you work it out that only one coach gave him votes.
Did you watch last Friday night?
No.
Josh Dacos had 38.
Oh, yeah, and he was...
From the get-go.
And he got 6 votes.
Yeah, 1-5-1-1.
1-5-1-1. So Scott gave him 1, you'd probably
Didn't
think.
like him.
Interesting.
What's he got against him? Dacos hater. Mm-hmm. So that's MVP votes. Defender of the year.
Oh, I'm Sicily. I know he missed 4 games or 6 games or whatever with injury, with suspension and whatnot.
Yeah.
Sicily has the greatest impact on the team, I think, in the competition, on his own team.
How many games has Sam Taylor missed?
I think it was 8.
I went Taylor. Just the way that they bounced when he came back gave me the nod. Like they benefited so much from having him in the team. And that one-on-one, he now is able to have an impact with the ball as well.
He's played 14, so he's missed 7.
People miss more than that.
That's a third of a season. It's a lot.
It's like the NBA now. They've brought in the cutoff.
The threshold.
Certain,
Yeah.
They really don't like the resting. They brought in the in-season tournament and everything, try to stop you resting people.
But if he finishes with 16, if he plays his last 2, he finishes with 16 out of 23.
But people still think it's a 22-round season.
Yeah, it's 24.
It's 24. Like,
it's been a long
23
year.
games, yeah.
It's been a long year.
Gather
round was right, but just don't add the extra games.
Yeah.
Gather round seems like he's about 9
Yeah, why did
months
we add
out.
an extra round to gather round?
I think it was for the
Home
home
games,
games.
but still.
Just give them money.
Yeah.
Give them enough for to cover that game.
Yeah, we're not going to keep, because let's be honest, it's been a drawn-out patch. And maybe we're unlucky.
I would say 90% of the teams too, like, you're not giving them a lot to cover their home game attendance. It's just West Coast takes 90% of it.
Yeah.
If they lose
the
a home
Western
game,
Bulldogs, we're not going to fine you this week.
So
you're not in the bag, you're clean.
Yeah, you don't owe us anything for using Marvel.
I love the Dogs. They upset me on the weekend.
Yeah, they should.
Because I was all in on them winning the flag from the position they were in. And they just didn't do it.
And now we've guaranteed that they're not going to finish. The percentages could be a lot. Like, percentages were not much. So it's funny, that ladder predictor probably
Can't
That was significant percentage
other way. Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was a good sort of 8 or 9% behind Adelaide.
Right,
so it'd have to, and Adelaide have West Coast in there as well. The Dogs have West Coast in there as well. Depends who beats on West Coast.
So West Coast, Western Bulldogs and Adelaide both in, going by that measure. And most improved for the year.
It's hard to go past Errol, isn't it?
Yeah, I went Errol.
How can I be so biased?
Who are you going to say?
Will Day?
Will Day.
Will Day's in the conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, Errol's gone from a guy who averaged 19 a game last year, sort of a handy role player, to arguably the most important guy in Sydney, right?
Yeah. I think Will
Getting
Day,
tagged.
it's all been around
The midfield
injury. Can he fit in the midfield? Is he just going to be like a Hunter Clark, where you think he might be able to play, but not sure if he'll ever get...
No.
So now I'm like, oh, God, I can't wait to see the next 2 years of that guy. But we can go Goulden.
Couple of smokies from North.
Hello.
Not from North. From St Kilda, Mason Wood, and also Wanganeen Miller as well, who's really emerged.
And
He's only second year.
A K
pace.
pace.
I'm going to put another guy
that
in.
probably counts against him.
Hinge.
Mitch Hinge,
Hinge,
yeah,
he's
I'm
had
gonna
a
put him in.
monster
And
finish.
Caleb Sarong's in around the mark too, conversation.
Spoke to Sarong today about why his game... I thought he was a bit like that last year, a bit of a wave, highs, lows. And I know he's on that massive run of over 20s, but he said he put it down to the pre-season before he had a finger injury and couldn't do physical for 6 weeks, so he did the full pre-season, but did a lot of work with a psychologist.
Yeah, right.
Did heaps.
I think I've seen him talk about that before. He basically, because he went so well in the finals last year, and then he got to the end of it, he's like, why can't I do that all the time?
Yeah, no, he sat down with a psychologist a lot.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Reece Walsh in the Broncos.
And I
after
said...
he called the
Reece Walsh
referee a C-word.
But Reece Walsh also had a few little issues.
All over the place.
I love him. Good looking man. Those
He
eyes.
is a very good looking man.
Puppy.
Can play rugby league.
Yeah,
Oh, the Broncos.
All right, crazy idea time. Off the back of last Saturday's penalty shootout drama that transfixed the world. Drawn home and away games. So don't worry about finals. Finals still do extra time for AFL game. Drawn home and away games, of which we get, 1, 2 a year?
Yeah.
Penalty shootout style.
30 out there in front.
Same format, 5 from each team. You have to kick from beyond the paint of 50.
Beyond.
Wherever you like on the arc, but you have to kick from beyond
What
the
about-
paint. One opposition player on the goal line, so stick Mason Cox on the goal line, whoever, you have to clear them. How
Nah.
good
What
would
about
that be? From a drama
I'd rather 35 out directly in front. Really
Nah,
put the
50.
pressure on.
So
Roast.
I've been thinking,
Roast.
this is right in my wheelhouse. I've been thinking about this a lot recently. Like, what if you ran a short competition with like what kind of? Because have you heard of the Kings League in Spain?
No.
So it's who's a Barcelona centre half back who was dating Shakira for a long
Gerard
time.
Piqué?
Piqué
Yeah.
started it, and it's just like a 7-a-side thing with all these crazy rules. Like the best streamer, like gaming streamers in the land, each like own a team.
Okay.
And they bring in a bloke like in a mask who's like a professional player and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I was trying to think
Like
what
the Stig. You don't know who he is.
like just did, yeah. He
How can he
was number
see
69?
how
He had it on. He had like a Rey Mysterio wrestling mask on.
But can he see what he's doing?
He could see out of it, yeah, because it's
Okay.
got like the mesh.
Okay.
You just don't know who it was. But like, and they have all these crazy rules. I was like, what can you do footy wise? So what about saying he's shooting from 50, but your man on the mark is 35, but he doesn't have to stand the mark.
What?
So you have to. It's a 1-on-1.
Ice hockey.
Yeah, like you're running in, but like so he's 35, so he's under pressure. You've got to get around him and kick the goal, not just a set shot.
Jesus. I like it,
becoming a
but
lot.
I'm certainly a 35 out directly in
Just
front.
gotta kick it.
Put the pressure on. Too many people miss them. Like a penalty shooter, to kick off from penalty is a piece of piss.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
But
you
they
need,
miss.
You need
No, but not
someone.
when
You need
there's
to
a keeper
beat
there,
someone.
though.
But there should be 90%, 95%. Maybe
But that
50%.
Australia-France shootout was like 60% conversion
Yeah,
rate.
I love it. I love seeing people choke.
So wouldn't you say like a similar conversion rate if you did from
But not
beyond 50?
Not everyone can kick 50.
That's okay. You just need 5 guys in your team.
Nah, I love 35.
In
out.
this hypothetical, who would you trust with your life from beyond 50 to clear the guy on the line with accuracy after the game's finished, everyone's tired, etc.? Who in the league?
Tex,
Yeah,
I was thinking Tex or Jezza Cameron.
Hawkins. I'd go Hawkins over Cameron.
50.
Yeah.
What about Jordan Dawson? What's his goal kicking like?
Don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dan Houston
Dan
Well, he's
Houston,
proved-
yeah,
he's
in the
proved it,
conversation.
has done that before.
Oh, the Seed retiring yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
He had a beautiful
Very
kick
sad.
through 50, yeah.
Very
Yeah, that was
sad.
bad.
Had a
Underrated
couple of good
player.
chats. Had a good chat with him last year when he was over. So he travelled with the side.
Yeah, okay.
Last round last year it must have been. Did they play Adelaide JK's last game? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was that game. And he was just saying how he's just battling away and
Yeah, right.
someone slide into the DMs just to see how he's going and stuff. Good man. Very good man.
So I always like the story of he
Good
grew
looking
up,
too.
He grew up a Collingwood nuffy and then got drafted by Collingwood. But he was like a nuffy to the point of
Yeah.
on the buses, they'd all quiz him with like facts about their own lives. And he'd know everything.
That's great.
So how many kicks did I have in this game? He'd be like 17.
That's great.
So we were in Adelaide 5 years ago or whatever, with visiting, had a 30th over there, but was staying with Kyle Cheney. And he was like, Paul will take you here or whatnot. And I was like, Paul Seedsman seems like a bit of a pretty boy. The nicest guy, like
Yeah,
went out
right.
of his way to help and drop us off. And no, he's a good man.
Good fella.
Yeah. Unfortunate, another concussed player.
Yep.
Is that us?
I got one more.
No, yeah, I got one after that. We'll go for that point.
Can you name 10 AFLW players?
Yes. But I run a streaming platform that has like the state league as well, like the state league
Yeah.
women's program.
Can you name 5 captains in the AFLW?
I could give it a crack. Where's this going?
Well, I'm just...
Haley
Like,
Miller,
I
Emma
can-
Swanson.
I can name the Matildas off last night. How did the AFLW now cash in on it?
They need to bounce. It's
Like-
a good time.
They have to do something, and don't. It'll naturally happen because remember in 06 when the A League's just going to go bananas off the back of the World Cup. I don't even know one player playing in the A League now. Like you can't, they can't just
what about-
expect natural progression for the AFLW and
name's
women's
escaping
sport
me
to
now.
explode because the Matildas have done it.
The Matilda, the winner, Vine.
Courtney Vine.
Courtney Vine. She's an A-League player.
Yeah, us. There you go. But I meant A League
one.
men's.
Oh, A-League men's.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's
Daniel
all.
Sturridge.
That's all gone. That's run out. I don't know. What did that AFLW do? Because like
So the
it
timing
was
is
pretty
perfect.
special what we saw and what the
Yes.
girls did.
Season starts in a couple of
Shit, I'm
weeks.
sitting here in a chick's Australian jersey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What do they do?
You know what? Also controversial. The Matildas always have a better jersey
Yeah,
than
they
the
do.
Socceroos.
Correct.
When they brought back that like paint splash one.
Yeah, that was sick.
Um,
Because would you say the AFLW is slowly heading in a downward?
It's
trajectory?
heading a downward trajectory because they stuffed around with it so much.
Yeah.
There were 2 seasons last year and they had like a 3-week preseason. Like it needs to settle somewhere in order to grow. So interested in that space. I still can't work out. There's a girl who turns 18 next June. I can't tell when she's allowed to be drafted. I couldn't tell you. Maybe next year, but is there a draft date? When's the draft? Who knows? And you've got to be 18 by the draft. Like, it's all
Is this Zippy Fish?
zippy fish. Superstar.
Who's
Zippy
Zippy?
Fish.
Is that Zippy?
Zippy
Her
Fish.
name's Zippy Fish.
Like actually, her name's Zippy, or
name's
she's Zippy around the
for
park?
her name's
It's short for
Zephora.
Zephaniah.
Zephora.
Zephora? Okay.
Is Zippy like
Zippaniah.
And she's
Zips?
quick.
Just I love
Mate,
Where did I
that.
get
she's quick.
Zephaniah
So
from?
she's 17 now, but she won best on ground in the state league grand
Yeah, cool.
final. Had 26 touches. The next best had 19.
So how do we
Unreal.
promote these girls?
Well, you got to promote the girls. Like you got to get that individual flavour as part of it. So they try to do. You always get better promotion when you promote individuals over a club. People have like loyalties to their club, but individuals bring them to the game.
Well, Sam Kerr last night.
Sam Kerr last night. Sam Kerr would have brought so many people to the Matildas and soccer in general over the years.
So you think consistency?
I think finding the right spot for it and leaving it there for more than 1 or 2 seasons.
And having the fixtures and everything locked into place
Yes,
more than,
well ahead of time.
6 weeks out from the start of the
Is
season.
now the
whatever it
right
was.
spot?
I think so.
I think they can make it work.
I
Yeah.
liked, to be honest, I liked that Feb time slot
Yeah.
because you were starting to lean towards footy and there was
Yeah.
footy
The
cricket
there.
was dying
That's
out.
the only problem now. Be if people are like, there's too much, they're over footy kind of thing.
Well, I'm a spring carnivaler, and I'm really
So it's
excited
going into
about it.
that.
Like really excited about the good horses are back. Let's go to the pub. Da 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 da.
Yeah. So to be honest, I probably lean towards the start of the year, which was hard with the the heat.
Yeah.
But if they want to do it this time, stay at this time. But then just
Consistency.
and build your stars into
Yeah.
stars. Like,
So
build
who's
around
the best player in the league?
best player in the league?
It's not Aaron
Well,
Phillips
this is what-
now. Like she
No, yeah,
clearly
yeah.
was.
Well, yeah, I couldn't off the top of my head tell you who won the medal last year. She was from Brisbane, I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
but I couldn't. And this is all part of the problem, kind of thing.
Correct.
And there's the ones from the start where they did do this, so but they're not necessarily the best
Yeah.
players anymore.
Yeah.
Like Vesio, Taylor Harris, those
Daisy
kind
Pearce.
Daisy Pearce has just hung up the boots.
Yeah.
Chelsea Randall, I just know because she's been in footy for
Correct.
forever.
Yeah.
But the
Just wonder
ones
if-
since then haven't been as big.
Yeah. It's one if the AFL are in there today going, well, it's possible. What do we do?
They can also probably leverage a bit of the stuff during the finals, which gives them a better platform to promote it because it's on at the same time. Like in February, they don't really have a lot of assets in the market.
Yeah. Bring back curtain raisers too, by the way.
Curtain raise, not a bad idea. So here's one for you. I want you to pick one ruck. You're allowed to have you have them for the next 5 years locked in, but you can only have one.
Lloyd Meek. Sorry,
No,
did I
Lloyd
answer
Meek.
too early?
You did answer way too early. So I've got what I sort of consider a tier 1, and then I added a tier 2 of just other ones.
Right. So I've just got to pick one for 5 years.
You get to have any of these guys for 5 years.
And
if you say.
they're solo rucking.
They're solo rucky. They're
Right.
the lead ruck. They
Okay.
can have a backup if they need it.
Okay,
For 5
whatever they
minutes,
want,
but
yeah.
whatever they want. So Max Gawn, Tim English, Sean Darcy, Luke Jackson, Rowan Marshall. That's my tier 1
For
Yeah.
5 years?
for 5
So I'm
years. And I can
choosing
give you
one of
their
them.
ages if you need to.
How old's Max now?
Max is
32,
31.
31.
So
Yeah.
it's not him.
I'm Tim English, daylight. I mean, have you ever seen a bloke kick in from fullback like that?
No.
It's the ultimate sign of Bevo ball. I'm probably English with Jackson starting to come fairly rapidly.
Yeah, I like
I'm just English on his ability to play. Like
right
Jackson's
now. You
really
can go
raw
right now.
and whatnot, whereas Tim English, I think, can get towards 25
Yeah.
touches and kick it beautifully. And,
Yeah.
If you want to win a flag next year, Tim English is probably a bet, isn't he?
Well, next 5 years, he's not going to get worse, you wouldn't think.
Yeah. Well, he'd be 20, so he's 26, so he'd be 31 by the end of it.
Okay.
Um,
Who have you got on tier 2?
Well, it's just a bunch of names. These blokes aren't really like. but I
Everyone
thought
else.
we tried to appease some
Disrespect.
people.
Everyone else.
So it's like, well, no, some of them are good,
Okay.
trending up.
We'll start
Not
naming
trending
them
up.
and we'll work it
well,
out.
there's like Riley O'Brien.
Yeah. How old is he?
27.
Yeah, okay.
Jared Witts is 30. The big O's 29, which shocked me a little bit.
Okay.
Just quickly on O'Brien, did you see the Seed yesterday's speech when he retired? Just
No, I
really-
didn't say that.
Really good. And he went through some individuals, and I think it was O'Brien he spoke about. So he called Matty Crouch and Tex, and I think it was O'Brien. Now, O'Brien wants to be a doctor when he's finished
That's right.
with footy, and he'd spend his time, some spare time, researching things that might be able to help the Seed with his concussion. In his own time, would go
Yeah,
on
right.
different tangents. And he went and landed on a mushroom powdery sort of thing from somewhere. And the Seed was like, I couldn't take it because I was under the water. thing.
Yeah,
But
right.
it's a good story of someone
Yeah.
who's gone out of his way to try and
So
off
he's
his own bat.
now that
to
he's
try-
retired, he's having
now he can have the
mushroom
mushrooms,
smoothies,
yeah. But I found it interesting. You know, he wants to be a doctor, and that he went
Yeah.
hunting for his mate to try and find a different avenue.
Good man. Well, we can pick him as a good bloke.
Well, at the
but
moment, he's
probably
in
not for the
front
next
just
5
for being a
years.
good bloke.
Yeah. So O'Brien, Witts, and McInerney with the others in the tier 2. And then 2 who I chucked in, who I don't think I can't really see, but their fan bases get really upset if you don't mention them. So Tom De Koning and Sam Draper.
Well, Tom De Koning has just signed a big deal, hasn't
Yeah.
he? And he showed a little bit the last 2 games.
Yeah, he showed
He was
bits.
huge. No, he was huge 2 games ago. Third quarter was massive.
I feel like Draper belongs in that space, but he's been helped by Essendon's form or lack thereof since he's gone out of the side. They've lost a bit of spark since he's gone down.
I don't see it, but I'm going Tom De Koning.
That's out
I
of the
don't
tier
see
2.
it. I don't feel it. But obviously, some people do with the contract and Sydney offering him 8 years or whatever.
Yeah, Sydney.
There
have
must
since
be
said,
something coming.
What did they say? Hand on heart, there was no deal on the table. It's like, yeah, okay, so you
years.
wrote it,
Yeah.
put it on the coffee table, on the counter.
Are you going to be okay if he gets offered an 8-year deal?
I won't return to footy.
So we're going to have to do a welfare check.
Mate, I'm a
on you if that
linesman for the
happens.
Matildas these days.
Yeah, he's an A-League man through and through.
Cooney Cross, the girls.
Hardball bets. Thanks to the Tab Touch app.
All right, we both lucked out last week. Did you? Well, you didn't go Schultz for the medal, did you?
I did go. No, I didn't. No, I took Hayden Young. That was a roller coaster of emotions because the day after I did it, JL was like, "Oh yeah, we're sticking Hayden Young back at halfback."
Oh, yeah, and
on
then
the
they
Friday, I
just
was like,
never did
"No," and then he went in the mids. He was like, "Yes," and then he was just never in the hunt.
What do you got for us?
I'm going to take another wild swing.
When's the last time you had a win?
A few weeks ago, but that would have been my probably fourth win for the year. So it's not many. I'm going to take another wild swing here, which is paying $14.
Okay.
Oh, here we go.
3-legger. Brisbane 1-39 against Collingwood tomorrow night. Richmond 1-39 against North. Adelaide 1-39 against Sydney. Don't bet on it. I'm throwing at the stumps.
Don't bet on
fine.
it.
Don't bet on it,
14.
he says.
Gamble responsibly. Chances are you're about to lose, etc.
So I've gone Brisbane minus 1.5 points, GWS minus 15.5, and Adelaide Sydney to get over 172.5 combined.
Yeah, don't mind
Was
that.
it-
That could be a bit of a
Paying
shootout.
686.
Was it this time last week we spoke about Tom Papley?
Oh, the gambling?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was, and then it was that afternoon it all hit the fan.
Yeah, so he's not doing the pod anymore?
I think they had a 1 week off.
Oh,
Just
right.
to
Just to sharpen up a bit.
1 week suspension.
but still Paddy Payne can say, forget the ads and have a crack.
Yeah. So that's hardball bets. Get the touch this AFL season. Choose Tab Touch. Better your bet with Tab Touch. Gamble responsibly. Call Gamblers Help on 1-800-858-858. And this has been the Hardball Gets AFL show, proudly brought to you by the Mazda BT50. You do, you. See you next time.